Are you serious? Are you serious? Guys, this is a very serious report. I'm going to give it to you in just a moment. And as everybody is gathering in, let me read this important announcement. This is very serious about Friday the 13th, which is our webinar. But on the same exact day, Hamas leader Khalid Mashal calling for global rage. And we'll tell you what that means and the source I have it from. First of all, a quick shout out, if you could, for PastorPaulGold.com. That's www.PastorPaulGold.com. Do you want to take control of your financial future but don't know where to start? Well, you need to go to Noble Gold. They understand. Matter of fact, investing in precious metals may sound confusing, but the team at Noble Gold can make it easy. Let's hear from actual people at Noble Gold. One guy said, the staff answered all my questions and helped me every step of the way. No pressure sales tactic, just honest guidance. Securing my future is less stressful thanks to Noble Gold. Go to www.PastorPaulGold.com. That's www.PastorPaulGold.com. Set up a gold or silver IRA. If you do and you qualify, they're giving away this 5 ounces of pure silver coin called America the Beautiful. Pick up the phone and call them at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. Or click on the link below, and that is PastorPaulGold.com. All right, now here's what's happening. This is a very serious situation that has developed and is really, really, really disturbing. Very disturbing. Hang on a second. I'm getting a Skype, and I might need to look at this. Okay, I'm not sure what that is, but I'll check that in a minute. Very disturbing information, but I'm going to read it to you. The report that is coming in right now from the American Military News that Hamas calls for a global jihad, an invasion of Israel, and attacks on Jews worldwide. He's calling for this day to be taking place Friday, October 13th. That's the same day as our webinar, Final Countdown, Road to Revelation. What are the odds of this happening the same day? When we made the decision to do this webinar back in February, a leader and founding member of Hamas, Khalid Mashal, the guy behind me here, this guy here, he's called for a global jihad, asking that Muslims around the world target people of Israel on Friday, October 13th. Now, the video of Mashal's reported call to violence was posted on YouTube and remains up on his platform as of this morning at 10 a.m. And according to the translation and analysis of the video by author brother Rashid Mashal, referred to his proposed day of anger as the Friday of Al-Aqsa flood, which will send a message of course, rage toward Zionists and Americans. The most important thing he asked all Muslims around the world to do was carry out jihad by their souls, to fight and be martyrs for Al-Aqsa. He wants, of course, them to fight against the Jews, starting who live in countries surrounding Israel and in Jordan and in Syria and Lebanon and Egypt, but also other countries, he said, and go to the borders and try to enter them, each by his own means. This is the time, he said, for jihad, to be applied on the ground rather than just in theory. He asked the Mujahideen to go in long caravans to spell the blood of the land of Palestine. So these are his words, and it's very disturbing, extremely disturbing, but it isn't shocking. I mean, this is kind of what we've been hearing, right? I mean, isn't this what they've been saying? Isn't that what they just did on the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, when they invaded Israel and they breached the barrier of the borders? When they came in by boat, came in by air of paragliders, and by ground, by land, by air, and by sea, and even under tunnels. They came and they overwhelmed the land. And the death toll is now over 1,200 people, and approximately 150 have been taken hostage. And they're still finding bodies. And these terrorists are still in the land of Israel right now, hiding among some of the populace. And they're still, this is unbelievable. Now, Israel has, of course, been bombing Gaza day and night. Israel's got 300,000 soldiers now on the border with Gaza. But there's also been rockets flying out of Gaza at a pretty consistent pace. And also rockets have been flying out of Lebanon by Hezbollah. And also killer drones were sent over the border from Lebanon, southern Lebanon, and from Syria. And those would have to be Iranian-controlled drones. So, and of course, Amir Safari broke that. So there's just unbelievable situation now that we're in. Tonight we're going to be having a powerful broadcast over at Getting Ready that I'll be co-hosting that with Pastor Melvin Whittington. You'll want to go to www.ffctv.com or www.ffctv.church. But when you get there, you watch tonight. It starts at 7 p.m. I think it's very important you do that because some of the information we'll share there I cannot share here. Quite a bit of it, actually. And so that's why we do that Wednesday night show. So this is all, of course, if you haven't listened to Mike from around the world, the 19-minute interview I did with him on my Patreon channel, go there and do that. It's 19 minutes. If you're already a subscriber of my Patreon, just go there, click, and watch it. Now, when we first posted it, it's the most watched video we've ever done on Patreon. When we first posted it last night, there were so many people who rushed to watch it that it stuttered. It overwhelmed Patreon. Now, of course, after so many have already watched it, now people are still going there. It's not as many. It's working just fine, flowing. So if you had trouble last night, go back and watch it again now. It's flowing. Refresh your page and watch it. It's working perfect. But it did get overwhelmed a little bit. Of course, we're going to talk a lot about the warnings. Mike from around the world really put out some serious warnings, and you need to hear those at the Patreon video. It's easy to subscribe and be a member of our Patreon channel. You guys know that already. You give whatever you want, okay? The average person gives $5, but some people give more and some give less. You do what the Lord tells you to do. You're helping us share the gospel of Jesus Christ, and there we put certain exclusive content that Mike requested, or maybe Agent X or other people. I did an interview with Bishop Larry Ragland that we put on there because it was very, very interesting. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. Sometimes I do radio interviews with different people from other people. And if I get permission, I'll put them on there. So, it's very interesting what's taking place. Now, if you haven't signed up for the conference, you got to do it. We're about 49 hours away. We're about 49 hours away from the conference. The final countdown. The final countdown, Road to Revelation. And got to get your ticket. We got unbelievable information. This is by far the most on right now word you could ever have, to have this many unbelievable speakers breaking down the book of Revelation and including my broadcast or my presentation and Mike from around the world's presentation. Both of ours came after the attack on Israel. Everybody else's was before, yet they talk about breaking down Revelation, the same things that were coming. And people need to know the timeline. They need to understand the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, the 7 last plagues in the book of Revelation. So, yeah, it's incredible. Dr. Dave Robbins, he breaks down the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in Revelation 6. He is right now trapped in Jerusalem and can't get out. I give you Revelation chapter 11 on the 2 witnesses. It's amazing. Pastor Mark Biltz will give you the timeline of the rapture throughout the Old Testament, including Zechariah 14. It's phenomenal. Mike Around the World's presentation, the best he's ever done. And he reveals things in there that he's never revealed before. He said, I have to, because the time is now. And he also talks about Revelation chapter 9 and these new weapons that no one's ever heard of before, but he knows about them, and he wants to share them because it's time. Mondo de la Vega breaks down Revelation chapter 8. And, of course, that's the deep impacts, the 2 deep impacts that hit the earth. Bishop Larry Ragland does Revelation 18, from the Tower of Babel to Babylon. Oh, man, is that a great, great presentation. And then there's Ricky Baker. That's Jim Baker's son. Ricky breaks down chapter 19 and the marriage supper of the Lamb. Michel Dany from Canada, French-Canadian. He breaks down the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and the 7 last plagues of the book of Revelation. So he gives you an overview of Revelation with those 3 key points of the timeline. Pastor Steve Ciccalante gives us chapter 17, Mystery Babylon. It's really good, too. I never heard it by the way he explained it. Pastor Barry Liscombe gives us Revelation chapter 16, which is, of course, those 3 unclean spirits coming out underneath the river Euphrates and the battle of Armageddon. And then Rex Bear gives us Revelation chapter 13 and the new technologies of the Mark of the Beast system. He did a great job. And last but not least, my son Bart Begley does the history of John the Revelator, the man that gave us the book of Revelation. It's the history of that man. He was St. John. He was the Apostle John, and also known as John the Revelator, the only disciple that was not murdered for the gospel. Died at the age of about 94, left on an island called Patmos. Does no one talk about Revelation 2:9? Actually, we do. It's not what you think. I can tell you that. It's kind of interesting too, because people don't have no clue. There's this false narrative. It's called replacement theology. It's one of the most damnable theories and theological teaching that I've ever heard, and it's being taught. Probably about 15% of the body of Christ teach this replacement theology, and they use this one verse out of content, that the synagogue of Satan, and they immediately think it's all white Jews living in Israel. They call them Kaziazi, Jews. They immediately say that every one of these guys are the synagogue of Satan. It's not what the verse means at all. It's totally out of content. Doesn't fit at all with the rest of the chapter when you read it, nor does it fit anywhere but the book of Revelation. Matter of fact, these same people who teach that can't explain the 144,000. They don't know what to do with those 144,000 Jews who are used by God to help share the gospel in these end times. They don't know what to do with that. They can only focus on that one verse, and they take it out of content. And some guys use it for their entire theology of the entire book of Revelation. Some of them use that one verse to try to explain away the nation of Israel, to try to just explain it away. How are you going to explain away the covenant that God made, an everlasting covenant, forever? He says that in the Word, not once, not twice, throughout the entire Old Testament. What are we going to do with the city of Jerusalem, that burdensome stone, that place where the whole world is converging right now? If it's not important, why is everybody converging on it? Why are people killing each other over it? Why is Satan obsessed with it? Lucifer, why does the Antichrist even want to build his seat of authority from Jerusalem? If it's irrelevant, if it's been done away with, if it doesn't matter, somebody please explain to me why the synagogue of Satan scripture, which is so out of context, we covered in this webinar. Every guy on that list that you see there, every one of the speakers on that list, it drives every one of them insane, every one of us, this false narrative against the Jewish people, against the God's people who God made a covenant with to help bring us to Yeshua, to help bring Yeshua into the world, to bring the Messiah. Yes, their eyes were blinded. That was on purpose. God said, I did it. God blinded them just so that me, some country preacher from the cornfields of Indiana, a Gentile Irishman, could be born again. If God did not blind their eyes, I would not be saved. And now their eyes are opening. And you guess who they know is their best friend? The Christians. The true born-again Christians, not the hating Christians, not the obsessed with that one verse Christians. I'm talking about the true Christians who love the nation of Israel, who understand the Holy Land's significant role in these end times. I hope I answered your question, whoever that was that typed that. I've had to answer that question for 40 years. Dr. Summerall went 50 times to Israel, and it drove him insane. He went trying to tell people, why are people so obsessed with it? Give your life to Jesus Christ is what I'm saying. I mean, this is it, guys. We're in the end times. So what I'm saying is if you haven't got your ticket, you need to get your ticket now. We're 49 hours away. We're 49 hours away. So this Khalid Mashal calling for a global rage for Friday the 13th, calling for a day to rise up, all Muslims around the world to rise up and attack Jews. He sounds like Haman in the Bible. That's exactly what Haman wanted done. And he went to the king and convinced the king to sign a decree for a certain day, just like this guy's doing, for a certain day. Thank you. It's unbelievable. A certain day to murder Jews. And of course, we know the story. Esther, the queen, was able to set up a banquet, not one night, but 2 nights, to expose the wicked plan of Haman. This guy has the spirit of Haman. This dude right here has the spirit of Haman. He is preaching the exact same message, the same exact tactic even. And because of that hate that he has in his heart will be his demise. So you have to understand, we're playing for keeps. This is the end days. We're in the end time. Do you know Jesus? Have you been born again? The Military Times, and I'll read it again for those of you who just now showed up. Hamas calls for a global jihad, invasion of Israel, attack the Jews worldwide, and do it all on October 13th, Friday 13th. The leader and founding member of Hamas, Khalid Mashal, the man behind me, reportedly is called for a global jihad for Friday the 13th. And for Muslims to all around the world, he said, he says Muslims all around the world are to target the people of Israel. This is on the Military Times. American Military News is actually .com. AmericanMilitaryNews.com. The video of Mashal's reported call to violence was posted on YouTube. It was still there as of 10 o'clock this morning. And according to the translation and analysis of the video by an author, brother Khalid Mashal referred to his proposed day of anger as the Friday of Allah's flood, which means send a message of rage to the Zionists and to America, he says. The most important thing he said is he asked all Muslims around the world to carry the jihad in their souls. So it's sad, man. This is really, really bad. But it shows you that this isn't an isolated incident that happened in Israel. This isn't just an isolated incident. This is a planned atrocity, a planned jihadi terrorist attack on innocent civilians in the land of Israel. And that the ideology behind it is from radical Shiites living in Iran and the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and then it's spread throughout the world through groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Hamas and Hezbollah. And don't forget the Houthi rebels in Yemen or Boko Haram in Nigeria. Don't forget any of those guys, because they're all part of the same ideology. And we've even got some of them sitting in the halls of Congress right now. We do. So America, your southern border has been so porous, you know. We have a problem. We're in the end times. I believe, and I truly believe, I preached this Sunday that this is Psalms 83. I said it again yesterday. I say it again today, that what you're witnessing now is Psalms 83. And it may escalate into Ezekiel 38. I don't want it to. I can't stop prophecy. I can only tell you that it's happening and what's going to happen. I've been preaching this day was going to happen for 40 years. And for 14 of them right here on YouTube. And now it is here. So pray. Plead the blood of Jesus over the nation of Israel. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and you will prosper. If you bless Israel, God said, I will bless them that bless thee, and I will curse them that curse thee. Very important. Remember, thank you, RoboMom, Israel is the apple of God's eye. Zechariah chapter 2. We're here. This is it. This is part of the sign line, not the timeline. Thank you. It's the sign line. Give your life to Jesus Christ. He's coming soon. Shalom, 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 peace. Shalom, peace. Peace. The Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ. You need him in your heart. Everybody. See you tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Getting Ready Show with Pastor Melvin Weddington. We'll see you then. And I will stay on the throttle here day and night when more breaking news is relevant.